Hey, what's up, buddy?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry belated Christmas. Happy belated holidays. It is great to see you here in 2019 Casual Movie Club episode number 12, but also Casual Movie Club season 2 episode 1.
We're back, baby.
We are back, and that is the truth. It is not a lie.
And there's nothing truer than lies. That didn't make any sense.
That's all right, but it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So, hope everybody listening, all three of you, had a wonderful holiday season. And I'm hoping it's more than three of you. I'm just being funny. But for those that are just joining us again, welcome back. For those joining us new for the first time, welcome to the Casual Movie Club.
Yeah, the Casual Movie Club. We're two friends, hang out and casually watch and review movies for your listening pleasure.
That's right. And sometimes we pick a random movie. Sometimes it's not so random. But figured it would be fun to start the year off with True Lies, the movie from 2000. The movie from 1994, which is 14 years old.
14, yeah.
Right? Or 24. No, it's 24 years old. Because it was 14 years old. It will be 2000. Oh, my God. I feel old.
24 years old. Wow.
True Lies came out 24 years ago.
Yeah. 2004 is 10 years.
So 2014 will be 20 years, and it's 2019, so it's 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hold on while I sign up for AARP.
This movie, I've seen this movie only a few times, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
The last time I saw it, though, was high school, maybe 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen this, and there's a lot of stuff that I remembered. I just want to say I love this movie.
Yeah,
this
me
movie
too.
is right up my alley. It's action spy movie, which I love those.
But do you think there's enough comedy in there to make comedy as like a subgenre, or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would not be mad at whatever video rental store you walked into that had this in its comedy aisle.
What's a video rental store?
Oh,
just for the millennials who may not know. If you know, so way back when we were younger, 25 years ago, we did not have Netflix or Hulu or streaming of anything. We had to go to a physical location and rent a movie on either VHS, like a videotape, or DVD. And if other people had rented it, too bad, tough shit. We were not able to watch that movie.
Yeah.
But oh, how things have changed since then.
Everybody knows about Blockbuster.
Of course.
Think of Blockbuster.
Aren't there like 2 or 3 locations still open in the world?
That might be generous.
Yeah.
There might be one left. I know there was one in Anchorage, Alaska that recently closed, and there's one other one left, and I don't remember what state it's in.
It's probably in a state of financial failure.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, speaking of streaming, you were looking on iTunes, and this movie's not available on iTunes.
Yeah,
I found that really odd.
Yeah, especially a movie of this caliber.
Yeah. And it's not that it's an overly old movie. It was even nominated for an Oscar. It's a big name movie. You got stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tia Carrera. You've got big names in here. It's directed by James Cameron, so it's not like it's a B movie or something that's not wildly heard of.
Yeah. This was a nominee for best visual effects.
And I would agree with that completely.
Absolutely. Like for the time, 1994, this was amazing visually.
Oh yeah.
The Harrier flying around with people jumping on it, falling off of it, flying around and shooting its guns and all that stuff.
Not only just from a technical standpoint, and obviously we're going to get more into this when we hit the numbers, but there was a lot of things that were fairly clever in this. How they used the Harrier. It wasn't just, oh, let's fly a plane and shoot missiles. Like, they used it as a platform, literally.
Yeah.
You know, for his daughter to jump onto. You know, he used it. He cleverly rotated the platform, so to speak, in order to knock the, you know, Salim Abu Aziz, the terrorist, off the plane. You know, so they made better use of it than just being a plane.
Yeah.
You know. So I thought that was really cool. But let's kind of jump in. So are there any particular, you know, you mentioned the Harrier scenes, but is there a particular scene or a particular moment in the film that you really, really liked or that kind of stood out to you?
The opening sequence was my very favorite. And it has all the hallmarks of a classic spy film, where Arnold scuba diving into a pool, and he has to cut some bars to get into the pool, and then he breaks the ice and sneaks out of the pool, and then goes to the pool house, and then he takes off his wetsuit, or his dry suit rather, because he's just scuba diving,
right? And
with the tuxedo on underneath, he's communicating with his car guys on the mission that he's on. The whole sneaking into the building, going through, finding the files, getting out, the C4 being planted, the chase scene right after that. The opening scene was by far my favorite of the entire film.
I'm totally behind that, absolutely, because I feel like it really sets the tone for a lot of what you're going to expect in the movie, because there's action for sure, there's explosions, and there's comic relief.
Yes.
You know, there's a ton of comic relief in there. You know, Tom Arnold is hilarious.
It's wonderful. Yeah, he is so funny.
I can't think of anyone else to play that role. I almost feel like, now, casting-wise, I don't know that this movie would be nearly as good with someone else playing Tom Arnold's role or someone else playing Arnold Schwarzenegger's role. Yeah.
Well, with Arnold, I could see other big action stars of the day playing that same role. Like, the only difference, Arnold is charming. He's really, really charming.
Is he though?
I think he is.
Okay.
He is very clunky with his delivery and some of the lines that he delivers. But the things that he does with his face, just his general demeanor, he exudes charisma to me. Now, I could easily see a Tom Selleck, maybe a Sly Stallone, in playing this same role. It's got to be somebody that can be, maybe a Burt Reynolds also, maybe not a Tom Selleck, but a Burt Reynolds.
Maybe.
I'm thinking more of like a 1970s Burt Reynolds though than a
like a Smokey and the Bandit Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think the word you described to describe Arnold Schwarzenegger is clunky. I think that's really, really apropos.
Yeah.
You know, because I was even saying to you during his dancing numbers, like, he doesn't have the smoothness of a ballroom dancer, you know, and I'll be the first to say I am not a ballroom dancer either, but I have also watched a few episodes of Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
So like, I've seen what professional ballroom dancers look like, and you could definitely tell that he is not a professional ballroom dancer.
Yeah, we talked about this during the watch also. I don't agree that he was as stiff as you were saying, but I do see where he wasn't as good as somebody that we would see on a show like Dancing with the Stars,
right? And one thing I meant to say this in the beginning of the recording here, but this is definitely a movie where you have to suspend disbelief.
Oh, of course,
it is required. It's almost like they should put it as like a preamble. You know, they should put text on the screen that says, do not assume that any of this is real, you know, or you must suspend disbelief. Because one thing that specifically jumps out to me is when they're on the little island in the Keys, and Helen Tasker drops her Mac 10 and it just rotates and does this perfect flip down the stairs, shooting bullets in a vertical arc, and and magically these bullets are hitting terrorists that are coming from the left and right.
Yep.
It is the most ridiculous scenario, but for some reason there's just the assumption that, oh yeah, she was up there and she did all that, and she just, she happened to knock the gun down at the exact angle that it needed to hit all those guys, and they were all of course fatally wounded also, not just minor wounds. They were all fatally wounded and all died.
She wasn't hit.
No, of course she wasn't hit by these stray bullets, and neither was Arnold.
Yeah. So
that's one of those moments of suspending disbelief. Another moment of suspending disbelief is the whole Harrier bit. Because when he takes off from with the Harrier on the island, and he's like bumping into cars and he's barely like getting into it, then all of a sudden he becomes like this perfect pilot.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I think Tom Arnold's character had said like, oh, he spent 100 hours in the simulator.
So supportive.
Yeah.
Like they're best friends. There was a kind of switching directions here. Tom Arnold again is amazing in this role. The relationship of these two characters, they're partners, Tom and Arnold.
Right. Which is funny. Tom Arnold,
yeah.
Tom and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was hoping you'd pick that up.
It's like Brangelina.
So they're partners, they're spy partners, and they work a bunch of missions together. And then when Arnold suspects his wife is cheating and he ropes Tom in to help him do reconnaissance on this, Tom pushes back. He tries to do the right thing.
Right.
But eventually Arnold talks him into doing it. And Tom just supports him the whole way, just goes along with it,
right.
spending money that's not theirs to tail his wife and her quote unquote lover. And when they capture them, when they pick him up, and they they tear his trailer apart.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious. So, I mean, Tom goes along with this.
Right.
So, it was really endearing to me at that scene where Arnold was in the Harrier trying to get it up off the ground, and Tom is the whole talking to the Marines like, "Oh, he's fine. Yeah, he can take this."
This is a classic Tasker takeoff.
Yes.
I'm just like, dude, he's destroying cars, and yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, me too. And interestingly enough, I wanted to mention this when Arnold's character first finds out his wife is, might be cheating, and then Tom Arnold goes on and tells this story about his second wife taking everything that she left him and even removed the ice cube trays from the freezer. That was actually Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold was actually talking about Roseanne Barr when they divorced.
Shit.
So that was a little bit of him ad-libbing, because supposedly Roseanne even took the ice cube trays out of his freezer.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I really liked the on-screen chemistry the two of them had.
Yeah.
Because Arnold was this kind of stiff guy with his, clunkiness to him, which, and I totally can see some of his endearingness, and I get it, but I think he's definitely more on the clunky side. But the and he pulls the weight for the sort of action hero-ness that Tom Arnold does not have.
Yes.
Tom Arnold is not an action hero.
Right. No.
And he doesn't really try to be, which is kind of interesting.
He plays to his strengths.
Right. And I think that's a really good. That's a sign of good direction and good casting, because you didn't see either of them trying to be who they weren't.
Yeah.
And I think that's certainly worth mentioning.
Could you see Tom Cruise playing the Arnold role instead?
No.
Why not?
He's too much of a pretty boy.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, Arnold.
But Arnold
is.
I think Arnold is not afraid to get. Well, I mean, I guess then again, I was going to say Arnold doesn't seem like he's unwilling to get dirty and blow shit up. But then again, Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie, so that doesn't hold up.
Yeah, Tom.
But I don't know. I don't know that I could see Tom Cruise playing it.
Who could you see? Anybody?
Definitely not Stallone.
Definitely not Stallone.
No, definitely not Stallone. That's a really good point.
What about Dolph Lundgren?
No, because I don't think he's well known enough. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Sure. I don't think he's well known enough, or at least I don't think people would. I
don't know. Ivan Drago from Rocky 4.
I've never actually.
You've never seen Rocky 4?
No.
Oh man, we gotta get one of the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
In the mix.
Yeah, for sure. But as far as anybody else playing Arnold's role, initially I thought Nick Cage, but
I would love to see. I'm not saying it would be good, but I would love to see a Nick Cage performance as Harry Tasker.
Oh my god! Because I could see him pulling off the geeky, nerdy salesman type, but then behind closed doors being this spy.
Yeah.
I could easily see it. I'm glad they didn't have a British person playing it, because it would have been too James Bondy.
Yeah.
Well, and nothing, I love James Bond. I love British people, but
same.
It would not have been right for this role.
No, instead they have a big hulking Austrian guy.
Right.
Whose accent is just undeniably Austrian, like this guy.
Now, what did you think of that? Because there were some times where, especially during their interrogation, when they brought Helen Tasker in and him and Tom Arnold was sitting behind the double-sided mirror there, and he was reading the questions into the loudspeaker there, and it was distorting his voice. You could clearly hear the voice had an Austrian accent.
Yes. Yeah.
So don't you think that maybe she might have put two and two together? Like, hey, why does this person interrogating me have the same accent as my husband?
She should have, if she's been married to him for 15 years. Right.
And I'm sorry. Again, this is a part that I did not buy. When he went to visit her at her work, he went to visit Helen at her work to pick her up for lunch, and she gets the call from Simon to go to the meet up with him, and she walks right past Arnold.
Yeah,
and Arnold is 6'4", 6'5",
easy.
Whatever. He's a huge guy, but she completely misses him. And I'm sorry, I would have totally seen him. And he was. It wasn't like he was hiding.
He was tall. Well, he was trying to hide, but he was taller than the cube wall.
Right.
Like he ducked into a cubicle.
Right. And
but he didn't duck into a cubicle. He just turned his back in the cubicle while she walked past.
Right. But even then, he doesn't have his silhouette or his profile is a unique profile.
It's very very distinguishable.
I meant to say that. So it's a very distinguishable profile. So I mean, if you're married to someone that looks like a bodybuilder for 15 plus years, and you got a bodybuilder guy standing in the middle of the hallway at work, isn't it going to be like, hey, I know you, and also if she gets a phone call from this Simon or whatever, and her coworker across the way is the chatty coworker is, talking this up. If I were him, I would want to get in on that. Like, I would want to confront her about it. Like, hey, baby, like, hey, you want to go to lunch? Like, throw her off.
Yeah.
Right there. I wouldn't have just had him stand idly by and let her get picked up by, Simon the Creeper.
Yeah. Well, I think the spy part of his nature was more curious as to where this would lead.
True.
Maybe trying to catch her in the act or gather as much evidence as he can before he jumps to conclusions.
That's true. But I mean, either way, it would have made for an interesting twist in the movie. Now, one thing I do want to say, I am kind of disappointed at the ending.
Where they're both spies?
Yes, because it leaves it open for a sequel that never was made.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen how they evolved as a married couple, as a family, as spies. Like, I really think they could have made an interesting second movie.
Well, I think that the focus of this movie was them coming to terms, finding out that he's a spy and coming to terms with it, and seeing him in action.
Right, but then now you add the new element of her being a spy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I
so
really wanted to see more of that.
So now Dana, the daughter, knows that her dad is a spy.
And her mom is.
Well, does she know that her mom's a spy? Because I think to add on to your concept there, well, now Dana knows dad's a spy or dad's a commando or something. He's not a computer salesman.
Right.
But she doesn't know that her mom is. Her mom went through this crazy ordeal.
Right.
But
we don't know if they told the daughter.
Yeah.
That's understandable. But, you know, it's been 25 years now since this has happened. Arnold Schwarzenegger is, what, 70-something years old now?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they easily couldn't do another one of these. So, you know, and even if, I think if they tried to make a sequel where Dana was grown up and she was a spy and then her parents were played by Arnold and Jamie Lee, but they had like a different kind of a role, it would be kind of grasping, but they could pull it off.
Yeah.
But it still wouldn't have the same effect as if they had made a sequel shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I don't know if a sequel would have worked. But
I would have been all about it.
Yeah, I
definitely would have been. Oh,
believe me, I would have watched it. I would have watched the hell out of it twice.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I might even go 3 times. Before I forget, we got to talk about Simon.
Oh, Bill Paxton. Oh man, the used car salesman.
Oh, it was like.
So slimy.
And you had called out something specific that he said, and I want you to talk about that. Do you remember what I'm referring to?
I don't.
When they're in the vet and they're driving back, or no, sorry. It's Bill Paxton is driving. Arnold is sitting in the passenger seat, and he is describing Arnold's wife.
Okay.
He's describing, Helen Tasker. And he says, he's describing her body.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And he says something, like, you called this out while we were watching it, and I'm like, we got to bring this up.
So he's describing Jamie Lee Curtis. He's describing Harry's wife to him. He doesn't know that that's Harry's wife.
Right.
But he says, I forget the specific adjectives he used for each body part, but...
It was, a nice pair of titties and a slamming body or whatever.
Body, and the ass of a 10-year-old... boy?
The ass of a 10-year-old boy.
An ass of a 10-year-old boy.
What the fuck?
What?
Yeah. I mean...
You're lusting after this woman. This grown woman. And you're likening her ass to a 10-year-old boy?
Yeah. I mean, that then and there... That's wrong.
No. Yes, that's wrong.
That's horridly wrong. I mean, now he's gone from being a sleazy car salesman to a pedophile.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that was shocking to me.
Oh, yeah. Completely.
Yeah. But do you think that may have been part of Arnold's daydream? Because Arnold was daydreaming about...
He didn't. I know what you're talking about. He wasn't daydreaming until later when he was
driving back.
Correct.
Oh, you're right. That was the second time.
Right, because Carlo. What do we call him? Carlos the Jackal.
Oh yeah.
Simon. Sorry, Simon was driving first, and when he described Jamie Lee's ass like a 10-year-old boy, then by the way we see her ass later on.
And it is not a 10-year-old boy's ass.
No. Not that I've seen a 10-year-old boy's ass, but it's like the size of a 10-year-old boy. The whole boy.
Yeah. Yes.
So, like that, yeah. Anyway, not that we're making a podcast about Jamie Lee Curtis's ass, but he's not daydreaming until the second time when he's driving.
Okay.
Because then he decks him and either knocks him out or...
Because Simon's in the passenger seat when his head rolls back with the blood and the teeth and... Yeah.
I think I would have done the same thing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anything else you want to bring up, or are we ready to number this thing?
I'm ready to number it.
I am ready to number this thing as well. And
let's number it.
When you say numbers, listeners, when you hear us talk about numbers, you may be wondering, what in the world are you talking about? Well, if you go to our website, casualmovieclub.com, then go grab yourself a drink, and once it loads, you can go to our leaderboard. And yes, we are always trying to make our website faster. If any IT people out there want to help us with that, feel free to reach out to us at casualmovieclub@hotmail.com. Apart from that, you can go to Casual Movie Club, click on Leaderboard, and it will show you a list of all the movies we have reviewed to date and the criteria that we use for reviewing said movies. For example, the acting. How did the actors convey the story? How believable were they? The script, the quality of the writing of the script. How well was the dialogue written? And then the presentation, the technical score. So the editing and visual effects usage, too much, not enough, ridiculous, copious green screen, or what? Music and sound, pretty much all the goodies for your ears, the score, the sound effects, all that stuff. The uniqueness, has this type of thing been done before? And then the engagement factor, meaning how tied in or how drawn in are we to this movie? Is it something that we just cannot take our eyes off the screen, or are we going to be browsing Twitter and thinking of fun things to post instead of watching the movie? So that being said, I'm going to start with the acting.
Okay.
And I think that overall the acting was really good. I don't think it's definitely not 5 worthy. It's because it didn't blow me out of the water. I think everybody played their parts very well. They played to their strengths. So I'm going to give this a 3.75.
Oh. I was really, again, to mirror what you just said, the acting was, I thought it was good. Everyone played to their strengths, but it wasn't as good acting-wise.
And we do have the one take backsies each that we can use if need be.
Yes. Standouts for me were Arnold's deliveries, some of his dialogue deliveries, and because of that, I'm gonna rate acting a 3.
Interesting. Okay, so moving on with acting, let's talk about the script. What did you think of the dialogue? How well was the script written? What did you think of the quality of the writing?
Loved it, start to finish. It had everything that I wanted in this type of film. The dialogue was spot on. One of my favorite exchanges happens when Arnold and Tom are listening in on Arnold's wife while she's talking with Simon, and It's obvious that Simon had read the newspaper and is taking credit for shootouts that Tom and Arnold were involved in the night before.
Yep.
Like that kind of stuff was brilliant to me. The opening sequence again, that dialogue there, the whole way that was written was phenomenal to me. And for that, I'm going to give the script a 4.25.
Oh, right on. Okay. So I agree with I pretty much agree with everything you said. And I really, I just liked how it wasn't roped into just being an action movie or just being a spy movie or just being this. I really liked their use of comedy and their use of, comic relief and their use of, breaking the monotony of, the things that define the genres of spy movies and action movies and stuff like that. So I really liked how they worked that all together. I'm going to go with a 4.35.
Oh, okay.
I'm not limiting myself to the only 4 divisions of the of our decimals. Presentation, so visual effects. I think ultimately really, 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 really solid. Really solid, especially for being 25 years old.
Yes.
There was definitely noticeable green screen.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say copious green screen, but there was quite a bit of it. But I really liked how clever they were with, you know, like with using the Harrier and stuff. And I liked how, you know, like there was one thing that really jumped out at me as noticeably just kind of cheesy towards the very end when the terrorist guy is attached to the missile and Arnold's like, "You're fired," and then he launches him with the missile. That looked cheap. You know, like the 2 or 3 seconds where he was flying along on the missile attached to it, and then he hits the helicopter and that all blows up. Like that sequence definitely didn't look as polished. Like it looks like it was kind of rushed. I'm going to give the visual effects presentation and stuff, I'm going to give that a 3.95.
Wow.
You know, a little bit below I don't want to give it a solid 4. It was very good, but not enough to be a 4. But no. I'm using my take backsies.
Oh.
I'm going with a 4.
You going with 4?
I'm going with a 4. Yeah. I'm gonna be generous.
Okay. Well, with my thoughts on the presentation, it's James Cameron, and I agree that there was I did see a lot of green screen, but it was the way it was incorporated. I really enjoyed the way that it blended. He tried to blend it into the background and make it as unnoticeable as possible.
Yeah.
Some things you just can't get away with.
Right.
The explosions, the gunplay, all that stuff was I really enjoyed it as a total package.
Yeah.
For the visual effects and the way they were presented as a total, that made me feel like a 4.5.
Okay. Right on. So visually, you liked it, 4.5. How about your ears? What'd you think of the music and sound?
I've said this before, and it still stands true for this viewing. A good soundtrack is one that I don't notice. The one that draws me in and keeps me paying attention to the film without drawing attention to itself. I did hear some soundtrack here and there, but it's because I was actively listening for it. There isn't anything that I dislike. Anything that I could really knock it for.
So 5, cool. Right?
No, it's not perfect. It's not perfect though. But that being said, it was standard action movie fare. And for that, I'm gonna give music and sound a 3.75.
Ooh. Wow. I agree with some of that. I really liked, and this was kind of, I noticed this in Die Hard also. I really liked how the music tied with the mood of what was happening. There was some parts where, and I know I said this almost verbatim on the Die Hard podcast, but, you know, some of the really whimsical moments, you know, especially where she's getting ready to go into the hotel room and she has to turn herself into, you know, sexy Jamie Lee. And that music that just has that kind of quirky little bass line and then the little blocks or something like ding 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 ding. You know, that little, I mean, I'm not doing it justice, but I liked how there were bits of that interspersed there. So the score wasn't just an orchestra the whole time. It was, you know, kind of clever and it was nicely done. I'm going more than 3.75.
Okay.
I'm going 4.13.
4.13.
That's right.
Okay.
Keeping it casual.
You got to keep it casual.
So, uniqueness. Has this been done before? Well, there have been a lot of action movies. And it's funny. This is probably one of the most difficult categories to score this. Because I think it relies on, you know, because we're not doing any research before this. We're literally scoring these as we're with our own knowledge of movies.
Right.
So, you know, to my knowledge, the plot is not unique.
No.
You know,
I would agree with that.
It's kind of a stereotypical action movie. So there's a lot of stereotypical stuff in there, you know, terrorists trying to do some bad stuff, and one person is going to be at the forefront of the, you know, trying to save the day, and there's a girl gets in danger and has to save the girl and blah blah blah. So like there's all these tropes that are in so many of these movies, and they're totally here. So I don't know of a twin movie to this.
I can't think of one.
At
least not one that came out in the mid-90s.
Right. So in that aspect, it's unique, but it's very, and I don't know, maybe this was on purpose, or this was intentional, that they wanted to make it almost a stereotypical action movie. So I'm going to give uniqueness a 3.5.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of that. There are maybe half a dozen, probably more movies that Arnold himself have been in that are similar to this film. One that jumps out at me at the top of my head is Commando. He's a retired special forces dude, but he is coming back to stop terrorists. They kidnap his daughter. Blah 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 blah. This has been done. Every aspect of this film has been done in some shape or form, one way or another. It does put its own spin on it with the family, him hiding it from the family finding out, and then them kind of accepting and even joining in at the end. But none of that really budges me forwards or backwards. So for that, I'm going to mirror your score with 3.5.
Right on. Cool. And why don't you tell us about the engagement factor? How engaging is this movie for you?
I'm pretty tired. I've had quite a day today. And this movie, I was surprised that it was 2.5 hours.
It didn't feel like it.
Well,
there were some things that did drag.
Yeah.
But by and large, it didn't feel like 2.5 hours.
For me, it felt like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
But that's because of the condition that I'm currently in. I was really feeling the length of this movie. However, that being said, the times I checked my watch, the times I checked my phone were really just time checks.
Yeah.
This movie kept me engaged, start to finish. And it's likely because I have a penchant for these types of action espionage films.
Nice.
But this is also one of those movies, if you've seen it enough times, or if you've seen it a couple times, it's a good background movie to put on also. You don't have to pay attention to the whole thing to enjoy this film.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I would give engagement factor a 4.
Right on. I am actually I agree with just about all of that, because I was also, I picked up my phone a couple of times, and it's because I've watched this movie a whole bunch. It's, I don't know that I would put it on my list of my top 10 movies or like top 12,
No,
but I mean, it's there in my like my top 50.
Okay.
Top 50, top 62, it's definitely a movie I really enjoy watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, interestingly enough, there's a few movies and TV shows that I kind of call my sick movies, because like when I'm homesick and I'm just sitting there, like there's certain movies I always come to mind and I like watching. True Lies is one of them.
Yeah.
Another one is The Bone Collector, which is a great movie. But like those, I seem to only want to watch those when I'm sick. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. But
probably because you get to you watch it, you're enjoying it, but you also can zone out and let your mind wander.
Right. Exactly. So I'm gonna say the engagement factor is 4.01.
Okay. $1, Bob.
Right. That's right. So the numbers are in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I liked this movie more than you did.
Oh, really?
Yep. So
I guess that's not too surprising.
3.96 average for me, 3.83 for you. I think we're definitely starting off this year with a little more conservative ratings.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Really? Why is that?
I don't know, because I did like this. I'm sticking with the scores.
Okay.
I'm.
You have yet to, by the way, use the take backsies. Is that intentional?
I just have I haven't really.
I'm sorry, I'm calling you out.
I just haven't really been moved to change my score.
And that's fine. That's totally okay. So that being said, acting is a 3.38, script is a 4.3, presentation 4.25, music and sound 3.94, uniqueness 3.5, sleep factor 4.01, for a total average of 3.90, putting this right below Star Wars Episode 4 and above Dennis the Menace.
Oh, well,
which I think is far too low. You sure you don't want to change anything? It's right. True Lies is right above Dennis the Menace. That's really, really low.
It's above Dennis the Menace, but it's below. Look at the movies above it, though.
Star Wars, Raging Bull, Wrestler, Interstellar,
Lion King, Die Hard, Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I don't think if I would change.
Do we have Brian looking to use the take backsies? Oh my goodness. I've already used mine, so it's up to you. Where do we want to make the change?
What do I have presentation at?
Presentation, you have it 4.5.
What's music and sound?
3.75. I think you could be a little more generous. But actually, I shouldn't say that.
Where's my engagement factor?
Your engagement factor is 4.
4. Uniqueness was
3.5.
3.5.
Acting was 3.
I want to bump up the music and sound.
To what?
To 4.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian has officially used a take backsies. All right. New numbers are in. So music and sound is bumped up to a 4.07. Total average is now 3.92. Still not enough.
Still not enough
to bump it up above Star Wars.
Well, I'm glad that it's not below Persona.
Yeah, I know. If it was below Persona, we probably would just stop recording and start over again. But I think you're right. The movies that are above this are definitely stronger movies, but maybe we might have been a little conservative on our ratings. I don't know.
I like
the ratings are kind of bothering me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't want you to lie, but I don't know. Let's keep on.
All right.
Let's keep on keeping on. I can't think of anything more that I would change. I don't want to change acting because the acting wasn't.
What if we add like 0.1 to every number?
Why would we do that?
To change the ratings? I'm kidding. No, we can't do that because we don't want to take away from the integrity of everything else.
Yeah.
So the ratings are in, the numbers are in, and True Lies, though it is a good movie, doesn't stack up as well against the other ones on our leaderboard. And that just is where the cookie crumbles. Right?
That's a delicious cookie.
That's right. Speaking of cookies, shall we pick the next movie?
Yeah. What do you want to do? I think I picked the one before. You
I picked True Lies.
True Lies.
So maybe it's on you, or do you want me to pick the next? What do you want to do?
Let's see here. I mean, we've been seeing good movies lately.
We haven't done a bad one.
We haven't done a bad. The last bad movie we did was Wild Wild West.
Which, by the way, if we do a bad movie, it'll be another one potentially below True Lies.
I like a bad.
So maybe we need to throw a little balance in there. I don't know.
Let's bring some balance back to the force.
And by the way, for those of you listening to this here, you can totally reach out to us through many different means. If you have movies you'd love to hear us review and talk about in a very casual way. But you can reach us on Twitter and on Instagram at the handle @CasualMovieClub. You can email us, casualmovieclub@hotmail.com. You can even go on our website, casualmovieclub.com, where you can see the leaderboard, listen to past episodes, get links to subscribe to us on the many different podcast platforms we are on, like iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And you can even call us. Leave us a voicemail, send us a text message, because we would love to hear from you. We get no calls or text messages at this point, but we would love for that to change. So please, by all means, feel free to hit us up at the following phone number.
The number you can reach us at is 402-882-2742.
Awesome. And that number one more time is
402-882-2742.
awesome. So by all means, reach out to us, and we would love to hear from you if you want to have any suggestions or you just want to say hi or anything. So that being the case, have I given you enough time to pick a movie?
Yes.
All right.
I'm looking at two in particular.
What are you going to subject me to next week?
Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh man, I have not seen that movie.
Have you seen Blues Brothers?
Oh yeah, I've seen Blues Brothers, and
It's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Blues Brothers 2000 came out not long after John Belushi's death.
Oh, is Dan Aykroyd in it?
Dan Aykroyd is in it.
Okay.
I believe it's Jim Belushi who takes his place.
Okay.
It's John Goodman. John Goodman takes his place.
Oh, that's interesting.
Man, it's gonna be a movie.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, this movie came out in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not nominated for anything.
What does it say on IMDb as far as the
synopsis?
No, the synopsis, but also like they have their little rating out of 10.
Oh, okay. IMDb's rating is 4.8 out of 10. And that's out of 2,900 or 29,000 reviews.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Blues Brothers 2000 it is for next week's episode. And anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No. If you've been listening this long, thank you.
Yeah, by all means, thank you so much for sticking with us here. We really appreciate you being a part of the Casual Movie Club. The Casual Movie Club here is a club where all are welcome.
Yeah.
So please invite anyone. Share our website or however you like to listen to us. If you like hearing us on YouTube or TuneIn or Google Play, iTunes, whatever it is, please feel free to spread the word. Let your friends and family know if they are a podcast listening person to check us out, the two random guys that talk about random movies, and rate them.
Yeah.
But we would love to have more and more folks in the Casual Movie Club. So thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We will see you next time.
Come watch a movie with us.